bold predictions time. We've had an absolute stinker this year. We had a stinker last weekend.
I'll hand it to BT first because he wasn't too happy with last week's. I'm looking for a redeemer.
I've got Melbourne winning by 400 points. Is that bold enough, Stephen?
G'day, guys. Welcome back to Statchat Sports. It's the weekly AFL podcast. We've got the full team here today. Steve, Tazza, and BT back from a spell in the twos. Good to have him back on deck. We're going to need him because it's a jam-packed episode this week. We usually starts off with our hits, misses, and hold fire. It's our regular segment where we go through some of the best and worst teams from the last week. And Steve, let's hand it straight over to you. Our hit for this week. Where are we going?
I've chosen the Dockers this week. I mean, they beat a potential top six contender. We spoke about it last week. We weren't really sure if they're cemented in there. We kind of said no, but they've had a good start, so they're up and about at the moment. So I'm not getting too carried away just yet because they haven't played any of the top four, I'd say. But yeah, it was a convincing win in the end for me. So
yeah, they were pretty impressive, and I think the forward line's really starting to take shape now. BT, those small forwards are both hitting the scoreboard and really helping to lock the ball in that forward 50.
Even Tab the Crab, he's playing pretty well at the moment. Other than I'd say Brayshaw is probably their star, and obviously Fife when he comes back.
Sean Darcy as well.
But other than I think it's the coaching. I think Longmuir's one of the better coaches in the comp. They're a very well all-rounded team, kind of like a Sydney. No overly big star like a Petrarca or a Bontempelli type. They just get the job done, play as a team. It's obviously working for them. I can see them finishing top four. They're going to be very hard to beat at home, so it's good for WA. Being an Eagles supporter, it's hard to see, but yeah, I'd rather a WA team than a Victorian team.
Yeah, let's not go there. Let's leave the Eagles for a little bit later on. Tazza, I think the contested possessions is what I was most pleased about on the weekend. Matched it with one of the best contested possession teams in the competition in Carlton.
Will Brody's been such an inspired pickup for them. It was basically a salary cap dump for the Suns, and he's walked straight into that midfield, and he's assumed such a good role there with Brayshaw, and Sarong's had a little bit of an uptick in his game over the last few weeks. That midfield's just ticking along. Further to that point, with Freo not having many stars, I think it's just a lot of good role players all playing their role. Guys like Sam Switkowski, just huge for their forward pressure, their structure. Guys down the back like Heath Chapman, who's just come in. I think it's his second year. They're rolling at the moment.
We're going to turn our attention to our hold fire. Tazza, who are we just waiting on a little bit this week just to see how they go?
This segment's kind of let's not hit the alarm button. I'm pretty sure we're all hitting the alarm button on Port. Look, an 84-point win. This kind of goes against the segment, maybe.
Tazza. We go to Port Adelaide, one win, and they're back. One win, and we're saying, look, the problem's over.
This is why it's hold fire, mate. We're holding fire. We're holding any opinions for another week, mate. They've beaten the witches' hats in the Eagles. Sorry to say it, boys, but
no, it's true.
They were witches' hats.
It's true.
But 14 goals is 14 goals. What I liked from Port was lowered the eyes, narrowed their focus a bit going forward, and it paid off. And yeah, look, we need to see another week. Port have got St Kilda this week from memory.
St Kilda in Cairns, which is an interesting matchup. That's right. And then the Doggies on a Friday night. So a couple of interesting weeks ahead for Port.
It's an absolute hold fire. I don't think we want to be jumping to conclusions with them. We need to see it against a bona fide top 8 team, which I think the Saints and the Dogs are. Even with the Dogs losing on the weekend, they'll get there. But yeah, watch this space.
Over to you, BT, for our miss. Who do we think just had an absolute stinker on the weekend? Are we going with the low-hanging fruit? Is it the Eagles?
You can throw the Eagles in there, obviously. But there's one other who I'll touch on briefly. I think the Bulldogs. They play very well in Ballarat. Kind of against Adelaide. Adelaide's obviously playing pretty well this season. That was a crucial game for the Doggies. They needed to win that. 2-4 now. I think they're actually going to struggle to make the 8. They've got the quality there to make it, but they're going to be in that lump where it's going to be who makes that 8th and 7th spot now. So I can't. They're out of the top 4 race. There's teams way better than them. Yeah. So, but we'll move on to the shitty ass Eagles team, who's far out.
Oh
See,
my God.
this shit here, right? Oh yeah. Get rid of that shit, eh? No more.
We've got a few Eagles supporters on the podcast here. Let's go straight into our overreactions, because I want to overreact to the Eagles, because this was just one of the most. It was just a soul-crushing defeat, BT. It really was.
We can't even blame the injuries anymore. We've got a lot of players back. I know we got a few out, but most teams do. They're just bad. They're just a bad team, and they deserve to be where they are. They're equivalent to a North Melbourne.
This is not a contender anymore. The alarming thing is, like you said, there is 14 premiership players in that team that are still in the squad, not including Gaff or Nick Naitanui. There are 9 All-Australians in the squad, and they're dishing up performances like that. Absolutely not on. Absolutely not acceptable. The midfield is the problem point. The defensive running is terrible. They can't win the contested footy without Nick Nat.
Even the offensive running is terrible. Even when they get the ball, they don't do anything with it. They're absolutely terrible. I've watched nearly every North Melbourne game, and I've watched every Eagles game. And skill level wise, I'd probably put North Melbourne above the Eagles. The Eagles are terrible. They cannot hit a target to save their life. They're slow. You can tell the age is there. The only positive is they're going to actually get a high draft pick for once. We haven't had that in a while. Let's just tank, try and get that number 1 pick.
I just want to do something for a second, fellas, and I hope it's okay. I want to have a moment's silence, please. A moment's silence for the closing of the West Coast Eagles premiership window. It's officially done.
She's gone.
I don't think we're going to need to talk about the Eagles much more on this podcast for the rest of the year. If you have followed us for the whole season, you would have noticed there's been a fair bit of Eagles chat. But we're done. We know it's all over. We know the Eagles are cooked. They're not going to be one of the teams that we need to be watching this year. So we've covered it now. Let's just leave it there. It's all over. Finish. We've got a new segment that we want to run through today, and it's called Building a Team on a Budget. So you might have seen us post this out on Facebook and Twitter and all of our social media platforms. But basically what the concept is, you've got $10, right? And your job is, based on the players that we've got listed right here, you need to build your best possible starting midfield. So 4 players from the list. You've got $10 to do it. You've obviously got some high prices on the big guns and some low prices on some little sort of sneaky under the radar picks. Fellas, we've gone through our lists. We've come up with our starting midfields. Steve, let's start with you, mate. Who do you like as your starting midfield for $10 on a budget?
So, this has been completely changed from about 10 minutes ago before we started recording, because I thought about it. But I've got a Nick Nat in the ruck for $4, Jack Steele, Matty Rao, and then Luke Parker to round it off.
Interesting. And why Nick Nat in particular? Are you happy to spend the big money on the big man?
Yeah, because I don't know. He's still just take injuries out of it. He's still maybe top 3, top 4 ruckman in the competition. So, if that midfield was in an actual team, you obviously need a good ruckman. So, yeah, I was happy to splash that a little bit more for the ruckman. And then, Jack Steele, Brody's mate. He's one of the best tacklers in the comp. Matty Rao's a workhorse. Parker can pop up with a goal here and there. So I feel like it's quite well rounded, personally.
There you go. Nice. Good mix. Tazza, your 4, mate.
I'm going to start with Riley O'Brien at $2 as my ruck. Obviously not the big household name that a lot of those other guys are, but he's probably the biggest tank out of them all. I think he just runs and runs and runs. He's in that next bracket under the Gorns and the Nick Nats, and I think for $2 he's bloody good value. I'm dipping into the $5 for my first mid.
Hey.
I'm going Bont. The Bont. He's a goal scoring midfielder. I do have another goal scoring midfielder in there, but I feel like Bont, he can do it all. He's clearly one of the best players in the game. I've taken Rao as my second mid, I think, for $1. He's a contested beast, absolute bull. He is somewhat one-dimensional, but I'm happy to take that for $1. I think he's one of the best contested players in the game, in the right system. And like Steve, I've taken Parker for $2. I think he's the work he can do in the midfield and in forward for $2. I think he's pretty damn good value. And we've seen this year that Parker, when he does go forward, he does hit the scoreboard pretty well.
Can I just say something quickly? I'm glad I changed because that was my old team. Exactly the same.
Oh, it's the best team, mate. So you've done yourself out of a win there.
BT, can you go one better?
I'm going with Riley O as well. Big Rob. I don't rate Ruckman. I don't think you need a dominant Ruckman to win a premiership. Gorn, obviously, exception, but they've got a very good team. So I was trying to work out a team with Draper, but he's just too useless. So I thought I'll go up one with Rob. So for $2, then this one hurts, but I'll do it. Jack Steele. $3.
No,
That's a bargain.
no, you can't do that.
He's converted, boys. He's converted.
He's starting to play
You
all
need
right in
the
my
train.
fantasy team. So
He's
You
on the
hate
trade.
this guy.
That's got to be a point for St Kilda in the overall score, surely.
he's there. He's picked it up. I'll give him that. I'm going with Dusty at 4. So
Okay.
obviously Norm Smith 3 times. He knows how to play on the big stage. And then the last one, Luke Shuey at $1, Norm Smith medalist. We got 2 players there who know how to win a grand final. We got the speed in Shuey. This is prime Shuey, I'm talking, not now. He deserves to be 3.
Oh, we're building a
ain't.
team off
We're
now,
talking
hey?
a team now, aren't
Nah.
This is a 2022
Oh, this
team.
changes
Look at
everything.
the graphic,
Oh.
BT.
So if we're doing that, then Nan Nui's not even playing. Nan Nui's not even there.
This year.
So how can we
this
choose him?
year, based on his current form this year, BT.
He's not playing. So he's played what, two games or whatever?
This isn't bloody 2018. We're not going back to 2018, Shuey.
Well, we're not going back to prime Nan Nui. So
Okay. In the same
yeah.
argument, Dusty's not even playing at the moment either.
that's true. Very true. Yeah, you got me there. Well, lucky I had another team. Anyway, I was tossing up between 2. So I'm going with Nan Nui. He's the best ruckman out of all 4 of those. Jack Steele, he's still there. He's the bargain of all of those. Jai Simpkin, and then I'm still going Luke Shuey as well. I think Shuey, when he's playing, he's still good enough. They're my 2 teams I was tossing up.
Nice. I've just changed my whole team while I was sitting here listening to you folks, but I haven't been influenced. I'm going the big fella Sean Darcy for $3. I reckon he's the best value out of those ruckman. He's an all-Australian. $3. Handy pickup. I like it. Lockie Neal at $4 as well. I'm taking that. Contested beast. Happy with that. He's going to lead the midfield. I like Matt Rowell for $1 as well. In and under. He's going to get a bit of the footy. He's going to dish it out to my man on the outside, Luke Parker, for $2. That's a nice, healthy, well-balanced team. I reckon I've got it covered.
You guys, you've got no good disposals there at all. All of these guys are spuds at getting rid of the ball. My son, who's 6 months old, can freaking kick the footy better than all these guys. Don't get me wrong, these guys are quality at getting the ball, but they can't do anything with it.
Hey, it's on a budget for a reason, BT. We're on a budget and we're tight, all right? We can't have it all. Well, what we want you to do is 2 things, all right? If you're watching this video, vote for whose team you think is the best. We'll put it in the comments of the YouTube section. But the other thing, building a team for $10, we're going to put a $10 Statchat t-shirt on the line for the best team that we see in the YouTube comments, all right? So let us know in the comments below. We've got one of these beautiful looking Statchat t-shirts that the boys have got. One of them's up for grabs for the best team in the YouTube comments. So make sure you put your comments in below. We want to see it. Fellas, is that time? BT's game of the week. BT, where are we looking to next weekend for our biggest and best matchup?
They've saved the best to last. The last game of the round, Sydney versus Brisbane at the SCG. Both teams, 5-1.
Oh,
Both.
huge.
That's a dirty
outside-
time slot.
Oh, it is.
They've been absolutely done there. That's horrible.
Yeah.
2:40 on
How-
a Sunday.
How have the WA teams escaped with the no dreaded Sunday afternoon time slot? I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Eagles have a freaking Friday night game. Don't deserve
Who cares?
that. Yeah, I think this is a very good game. This is both teams I can see finishing both top 4. If you look at their team stats for the season, similar in everything. They average the same weight and same height of the players. Everything's the same.
Oh, geez, you've gone
It's-
deep here.
I've gone deep. Yeah. The average height is 189 for both. Average weight is 88 kilos. They're
No
right
way.
on. Yeah.
Wow.
Literally everything's within 5 of like contested possessions or uncontested. Everything's so close. It's going to be a cracker game. It's both quality teams. I can't wait to watch that one.
Tazza, who are some of the stars for Sydney which you think have helped get them so far to 5-1?
Callum Mills is slowly built. And I'm mentioning him because he's just absolutely climbing my fantasy team up the ranks. But no, he has been very good. He's slowly building into a really good season. Heaney as well. He's been, whether he's in the midfield or forward line, he can hit stats in the midfield. He'll go and kick goals in the forward line. And he is spending a little bit more time in there, I think, he was with Buddy out. With him back in, he did spend a bit more time in the guts. Luke Parker's been quite good. Logan McDonald's kicked a couple. Hayden McLean hasn't been too bad as well. So they've had good contributors all across the ground for me. I think it's and the emergence of the young midfield as well and row bottom guys like that have been really solid for them.
What about Brisbane, Steve? Smoking Joe still shaping up as one of the best key forwards in the competition. He is on fire.
Yeah, I mean, I think him and obviously Charlie Cameron, I think those two just work so good together. You know, one tall, one small, just kicking goals for fun between the two of them. Obviously, Lockie Neal looks like he's probably back in Brownlow form. So, I mean, they've kind of done their business, gone 5-1, kind of on the back burner, I feel, because they've not really played too many top sides yet. But yeah, this will be a good test for them, I think, especially away.
To touch on Brisbane, in a season prediction video, I said they'll be 10-1 come there halfway through the season. So that's looking likely. I think the big one who's coming through now is Jared Lyons. He's starting to hit form now. So that's another big midfielder in there. And you got Harris Andrews, Marcus Adam, and Stasevich down back. That's a very solid back line.
I'm really glad you mentioned the back line because they've been really impressive. Adams and Harris are number 11 and number 7 for one-on-ones in the competition. So they are just getting it done. And just the emergence of that second key tool is really going to hold them in good stead, you know, when they come up against these big, you know, dynamic duos like your Geelongs of the world. So really important for them. I think that's a key part to their team. And something that Sydney, that's probably their knock, I think, is their key defender stakes is just lacking a little bit, particularly with the McCartan concussion from the weekend. So not sure if he's going to play or not, but yeah, they're sort of lacking in that department, I think.
Brisbane's strength and conditioning team, that needs to be pumped up a little bit more. What they've done with guys like Marcus Adams, Lincoln McCarthy, Nakia Cockatoo coming in, those guys played a handful of games at the clubs that they were with before, the Cockatoo and McCarthy at Geelong. And now Cockatoo isn't a huge star, but he's a good role player for them. And Marcus Adams forming part of that real back six there, just huge for them.
All right, so fellas, going across the group, tips for this game. Big game, Steve. Who do you like?
Brisbane. I think I'll go Brisbane. I think, yeah, just a little bit better around the ground than Sydney.
I'm going to give it. I think they're so evenly matched. I'm going to give it to Sydney being at the SCG.
BT.
I'm going with the Lions. I think the forwards, like you mentioned, the forwards against Sydney backs, I think that's going to be the difference.
Yeah, that's where I'm heading as well. I know it to the SCG, but yeah, the key forwards and the key defenders, for Sydney is the big issue for me. So chalk me down for Brisbane in this one. Let us know your tips in the comments below. Let me know who you think is going to win. Should be a really good game. We're looking forward to that one. Bold predictions time. We've had an absolute stinker this year. We had a stinker last weekend. No one anywhere close to getting a bold prediction correct. Steve, you're the man that runs this segment. You're going to have to whip us into shape.
I'll hand it to BT first because he wasn't too happy with last week's. So I'm looking for a redeemer. Come on.
Throw me under the bus when I'm not here. That's what you did.
You weren't happy. You were not happy about this, BT, and you let off in the comments of YouTube.
I spent hours doing research on that shit. Yeah, it was nah. All right, yeah, I'll go with mine. I've got Melbourne winning by 400 points. Is that bold enough, Stephen? Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Mine is to do with Melbourne. I've got Oliver and Petrarca to combine for 280 fantasy points. And,
Whoa.
Please.
and Melbourne to win by 80 plus points.
That's big against Hawthorn. Like Hawthorn's been good, so to win by 80, I mean they could have won by about that against Richmond if they could kick straight. So that's good, mate. I have to. I'm obliged to say that because otherwise I'll get in trouble.
Yeah, I'm glad I got your approval this week. I'm going to be able to sleep.
Good, mate. Good. Who's next?
I don't know how to top that. I think I'm really going to have to up the stakes, but I don't have anything on me right now. Okay, let's go a little bit higher. I had Harry Mackay and Charlie Curnow coming up against North this week. Let's go Carlton by... Oh, now I'm just copying you. All right. Actually, no, I'm not copying you. Okay, let's go Carlton by 90 and Mackay and Curnow to combine for 13 goals.
13.
Oh.
13.
No Ben Mackay this week. He's been offered 1 week suspension.
Is that the old dilemma of the Mackay brothers never play against each other because they're the same person?
Conspiracy.
It continues.
I think that's 6 games now.
There's got to be some truth in it. Absolutely.
You happy with that, Steve?
Yeah. I've got to pass that if I pass BTs. So yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
I'm a little scared now. I don't know if I'm going to get a pass or not. I'll see how I go. This week just gone, Jeremy Cameron broke the goals record for a game at Blundstone Arena. He kicked 7 goals. So, that's impressive. We love that at Stats. We're all about the stats here. So I'm going with back-to-back records at a venue. This week it is Port Adelaide against St Kilda up in Cairns, right? And the record for goals kicked at that ground, you'll never guess who it is. You'll never guess who holds the record for the most goals kicked at Kazali Stadium. Liam Picken with 6 goals.
No.
He's kicked 6 goals at Kazali Stadium in 2017. So my pick is that Max King is going to break the goals record at Kazali Stadium. He's going to kick 7 or more goals.
I like breaking records. That's a bit of fun, that.
Yeah.
So,
is it bold enough?
I'll pass it. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what a load of shit.
Oh!
If that was me, was me, you'll be like, oh, Max King needs to kick 12.
I'm trying to be a little bit more lenient.
I could have probably just gone with my original prediction then.
Right, Steve, well, it's time for you to pick yours. So, no, we're not going to go easy on you. So you better make it bold.
No, I know. I feel like I need to actually up mine a little bit. So, but no, I won't. I'll keep it the same, and I'll let you roast me. So I think I deserve it. So I'm going with the Crows. They've only won 3 games, but their biggest win margin was 23. They're going to beat GWS this week at home by 50 plus, and Tex will kick at least a bag.
Oh, I don't know. This is bold enough. I don't know if this is bold enough, fellas.
GWS is a bit of a rabble. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's Adelaide.
Adelaide.
Yeah, Adelaide looked all right. They just beat the Dogs.
We haven't given Adelaide.
I know, but they've beaten the
props.
Dogs by a point.
No, we haven't given Adelaide enough props. We slammed them in our season previews video, and they legitimately could have been our hit for the last 2 weeks. They have been really impressive.
They have. But I mean, I think their impressive win came against Richmond. I mean, to beat the Bulldogs is still good. But yeah,
Dogs
I know,
are a top 4 contender. Not anymore.
Yeah, they are. But they scraped through with another 1-point win. So it's about time they blow open the floodgates.
I think you need to add in like Ira Shelley for 5 or something.
I thought about it, but he's been a bit quiet the last few weeks.
So to be bold, if you got 5.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose you're right.
We're never going to get one of these things right.
No, we're not.
That's half a chance of being right. And we're absolutely just like, nah, no good.
No.
Why don't we go with this? Right, let's just up it a little bit. So it's the Crows to win by 10 goals, and Tex needs to kick You said a bag, so that's 6, right? Crows by 60, Tex for 6.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We need to try and get close to one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll allow it.
It's not my
Bring your
normal
own
bold
game next
prediction.
week.
My normal bold prediction is for the end of the season, but I was told I needed something here in the now, so this is what I've come up with.
Yeah, you have listened to the feedback, and we appreciate that. That's good work from you, Steve. Bold predictions in the comments, please. Let us know what's your bold prediction for the week, and hopefully you can actually get one right as well, because we seem to really be struggling to do that. So bold predictions in the comments. And if you liked this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate all the support. We're trying to grow this thing and keep getting more and more people on board. So good to have you on board watching our AFL podcast. Fellas, nice work this week. BT, good to have you back up in the league team. We missed you last week. Good to have you back on board. Tazza, Steve, nice work from you guys. And look, fellas, we'll do it all again next week. Cheers.